Someone watching this right now is being studied, not by the government, not by some distant hacker, by someone close to you, someone who seems kind, someone who listens, someone who makes you feel seen for the first time in years. And that person is calculating exactly how to take everything you have. You are being analyzed, your loneliness, your patterns, your weaknesses, your need to be wanted again. They see the empty chair at your dinner table. They hear the silence in your house. They know you wake up alone and go to bed alone, and that ache in your chest, that desperate desire for companionship. They can smell it like blood in the water. And you will not see it coming, because you do not want to see it coming, because admitting you are being played means admitting you are alone again, and that feels worse than the truth. Let me tell you who I am and why you need to listen to me right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I spent 47 years as a family law attorney. Divorce, prenuptial agreements, financial settlements, asset protection. I have sat across the desk from over 3,000 people whose lives fell apart because they did not listen to what I am about to tell you. Some of them recovered. Many did not. A few, and this still haunts me, took their own lives. Not because they lost money, because they lost their dignity, because they were humiliated by someone who told them, "I love you," while emptying their bank accounts. I am not here to give you gentle advice. I am here to give you a warning. Because the difference between financial security and complete financial ruin at your age can be one wrong decision made when you were lonely, one signature, one joint account, one name added to a deed. That is all it takes. Let me give you some numbers that should terrify you. The FBI reported that Americans over 60 lost $4.9 billion to fraud in 2024 alone. That is billion with a B. Romance scams specifically cost over $1 billion. And those are just the ones people reported. Most victims do not report because they are too ashamed. They cannot bear to tell their children. They cannot face their friends. They sit in silent devastation, watching their retirement disappear. But here is what those statistics do not tell you. Many of these predators are not strangers on the internet. They are not faceless criminals hiding behind fake profiles. They are people you meet in real life, at church, at grief support groups, through mutual friends, at the grocery store, at the gym. They are men who seem wonderful and women who seem perfect. And they are patient. They are strategic. They are very, very good at what they do. This is not amateur hour. These are professionals who have perfected the art of appearing to be exactly what a lonely person needs. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Patricia. I cannot use her real name, but Patricia was real. She came to my office in 1993, and I can still see her face. She was 66 years old. Her husband had died 2 years earlier after a long battle with heart disease. She had nursed him through it, quit her job to care for him, watched him fade away over 14 months, getting weaker every day, until finally, mercifully, he was gone. When he passed, Patricia was devastated. But she was also, and she felt terrible guilt about this, a little relieved. The burden was over. She could breathe again. She could sleep through the night without listening for his breathing. She could think about something other than medication schedules and doctor appointments. Financially, Patricia was comfortable, not wealthy, but secure. She had the house, which was paid off. She had his life insurance, about $250,000. She had his pension, which paid her $3,800 a month. By the standards of most people her age, she was in good shape. She could live with dignity, travel a little, help her grandchildren. About 18 months after her husband died, Patricia met a man at a grief support group. He had also lost his spouse. They started talking after meetings. He was kind, attentive, understanding in a way that felt profound. He called her every day just to check on her. He brought her flowers. He told her she was beautiful. He said things her husband had stopped saying years before the illness, things she had forgotten she wanted to hear. Within 6 months, they were engaged. Within a year, they were married. Patricia felt like she had been given a second chance at happiness. She felt chosen, wanted, alive again. When Patricia came to see me, she had been married to this man for 14 months. She sat in my office, and she could barely speak. Her hands were shaking. She looked 10 years older than when I had met her at a community event just 2 years prior. She had given him access to the life insurance money because he said he had a business opportunity that could not miss. A sure thing. He lost $160,000 of it. Just gone. She had put his name on the house because he said it made him feel like they were truly partners, like it was their home, not just hers. He had taken out a home equity loan against it without telling her. The house she had lived in for 30 years, the house where she raised her children, was now underwater with debt. She had added him to her bank accounts because he said he wanted to help manage the finances, make things easier for her. The accounts were nearly empty, drained systematically over months. He had not hit her. He had not screamed at her. He had not threatened her. He had simply, methodically, lovingly taken everything while telling her he loved her. I got Patricia out of that marriage. It took 2 years and cost her most of what little remained. She ended up in a small one-bedroom apartment, living on Social Security. Her comfortable retirement was completely gone. She was 68 years old when the divorce finalized. Patricia lived another 19 years. I saw her occasionally at legal aid events where I volunteered. She never fully recovered, financially or emotionally. Every single time I saw her, she had the same look in her eyes. Shame. Deep, unshakable shame. That is what these predators leave behind. Not just empty bank accounts. Shame. I need you to understand something called love bombing. If you do not know this term, you are vulnerable to it. Love bombing is when someone overwhelms you with attention, affection, and apparent devotion very quickly, faster than feels natural, faster than makes sense. They call you every single day. They text constantly. Good morning texts, good night texts, thinking of you texts. They tell you that you are the most amazing person they have ever met. They say things like, "I cannot believe I found you," or "I have never felt this way about anyone," or "You are everything I have been looking for." And it feels incredible. That is the point. That is the trap. The human brain processes romantic attention like a drug. Literally. The same reward centers in your brain that respond to cocaine respond to being adored. When someone love bombs you, they are triggering addiction pathways in your brain. You start to crave that attention. You feel anxious when you do not hear from them. You check your phone compulsively. You make excuses for small red flags because you do not want to lose the high. This is not love. This is manipulation. This is a predator who has done this before and knows exactly what buttons to push. Real love develops slowly. Real love includes disagreement and negotiation, and seeing someone's flaws and accepting them anyway. Real love is not being told you are perfect by someone who barely knows you. If someone is talking about forever after 3 weeks, that is not a person falling in love with you. That is a person working a strategy. Let me tell you about another client. I will call him Robert. Robert was a retired police officer, 64 years old, tough guy, street smart, spent 30 years dealing with criminals and con artists and liars. Not the kind of person you would think could be manipulated. But grief makes fools of us all. Robert's wife died suddenly. A brain aneurysm. No warning. One day she was making breakfast, laughing at something on the news. And the next day she was gone. Just gone. Robert fell apart. He had never lived alone in his adult life. He did not know how to cook more than eggs and toast. He did not know how to do laundry without ruining his clothes. He did not know how to manage the house because his wife had handled all of it. He was completely lost. About 8 months after her death, Robert met a woman at a bar. She was younger, in her mid-40s. She seemed fascinated by him. She asked about his career, his life, his late wife. She cried when he talked about his loss, real tears. She made him feel understood in a way he had not felt since his wife died. She moved in after 3 months. She did not have a job, but she said she was between positions. Just bad timing. The company had downsized. She did not have savings, but she said her ex-husband had taken everything in the divorce. A real piece of work, that guy. She did not have her own car, but Robert did not mind driving her places. It made him feel needed. Within a year, Robert had refinanced his house to pay off what she said were her debts. Debts from the divorce, medical bills from a surgery, credit cards her ex had run up in her name. He had co-signed a car loan for her. He had given her power of attorney because she said it would be easier if she could handle some things while he was at his part-time security job. When Robert came to me, he had nothing left. The house was gone, foreclosed on. The car was in her name, and she had driven away in it. She had cleaned out his accounts and disappeared. Changed her phone number. Deleted her social media. Vanished. Robert was a former police officer who had spent 3 decades dealing with criminals, and he had been taken completely. He sat in my office and cried. A tough guy, a cop, crying because he had been fooled by someone who told him she loved him. I could tell you 50 more stories like this. I could tell you about the widow whose charming new boyfriend convinced her to invest in his construction company, which did not exist. She lost $120,000. I could tell you about the widower whose sweet new girlfriend ran up $80,000 on credit cards she had convinced him to open in his name. I could tell you about the retired teacher who lost her entire pension to a man she met online who claimed to be a military officer stationed overseas. The details change. The pattern does not. Someone identifies you as vulnerable. Someone studies what you need to hear. Someone becomes exactly what you are looking for. And then someone takes everything you have. The pattern never changes. First, they identify a vulnerable target, someone who is lonely, someone who has recently lost a spouse, someone who has assets worth taking. Second, they study what you need to hear. They listen carefully. They ask questions. They learn your weaknesses, your desires, your fears. Third, they become exactly what you are looking for. Kind if you need kindness. Strong if you need strength. Understanding if you need to be heard. And fourth, they take everything you have, slowly, methodically, while telling you they love you. So how do you protect yourself? I'm going to tell you exactly what I told every client who sat in my office before getting remarried. These are not suggestions. These are non-negotiable rules. Rule number 1, keep your finances completely separate. I do not care how much you love someone. I do not care how insulting they say it is, that you will not put their name on your accounts. Your money is your money. Their money is their money. Period. You can share expenses through a joint checking account that you both contribute to equally for household bills, groceries, utilities. That is it. You never, and I mean never, give someone access to your retirement accounts, your savings, your house, your investments. If they are offended by this boundary, that tells you everything you need to know about why they are with you. Rule number 2, move slowly. I know loneliness hurts. I know the desire for companionship is real and valid and human. But rushing into a relationship when you are emotionally vulnerable is like driving fast on ice. It feels fine until suddenly it does not, and by then it is too late to recover. My rule was always this: do not make any major financial or legal decisions regarding a new relationship for at least 2 years. 2 years minimum. That is how long it takes to really see someone. That is how long it takes for the mask to slip. That is how long it takes to see how they handle conflict and disappointment and daily life. Rule number 3. Listen to the people who love you. If your children are concerned, listen to them. If your friends are worried, pay attention. If your siblings think something is wrong, do not dismiss them as jealous or meddling. When we are in the grip of new love, or what we think is love, we cannot see clearly. The brain chemistry is too strong, but the people around us can see. They are not blinded by the dopamine rush. If everyone who cares about you is saying the same thing, and you are convinced they are all wrong, you are probably the one who is wrong. Rule number 4. Get a prenuptial agreement. Talk to a lawyer before you marry. Get a prenuptial agreement. I know it feels unromantic. I know it seems like you are planning for failure. But let me tell you something that comes from 47 years of practice. I never once had someone come to me after a divorce and say, "I wish I had not gotten that prenup." Not once. I had hundreds come to me saying, "I wish I had." A prenup is not about expecting the relationship to fail. It is about protecting what you have worked your whole life to build. It is about ensuring that if things do not work out, you are not left destitute. 0 clients regretted having one. Hundreds regretted not having one. Rule number 5. Understand what evenly yoked means. It is an old term. It refers to oxen pulling a cart. If one ox is bigger and stronger than the other, the smaller one gets dragged along while the bigger one does all the work. In relationships, especially later in life, being evenly yoked means being with someone who is in roughly the same financial situation as you. If you have substantial assets and they have nothing, there is an imbalance that invites exploitation. That does not mean you cannot love someone with less than you have. It means you need to be extremely careful about how you structure things. Rule number 6. Watch for the warning signs. They call you constantly and get upset if you do not answer immediately. The relationship moves very fast, talking about commitment before you really know each other. They have stories about how they were wronged, about exes who took everything, about bad luck that left them with nothing. It is always someone else's fault. They want to help you with your finances. They suggest you put their name on things. They try to isolate you from friends and family who express concerns. They are exactly what you were looking for, almost too perfect. If someone seems too good to be true, they are, always. Now I want to say something directly, and I need you to hear this. There is no shame in wanting companionship. There is no shame in being lonely after loss. There is no shame in hoping to find love again, even later in life. These are human needs. They are valid. They are real. You are not weak for wanting someone to share your life with. But loneliness can make you blind. Grief can make you stupid. And there are people in this world who spend their lives perfecting the art of appearing to be exactly what a lonely person needs. I am not telling you to never date again. I am not telling you to close yourself off from love or companionship. I am telling you to protect yourself. I am telling you that the person who truly loves you will not be offended by reasonable boundaries. They will not pressure you to move fast. They will not ask for access to your money. They will respect your caution because they understand that you have things worth protecting. And if someone does pressure you, if someone does get offended, if someone does try to rush you, that is not love. That is a predator sensing that the prey is getting nervous. Let me tell you something personal. My own mother nearly fell for one of these people. My father died in 1972. My mother was 61 years old. About 6 months after his death, a man started showing up, helping her with things around the house, fixing the fence, cleaning the gutters. being so attentive, so kind. He started talking about how lonely he was too, how much he missed having someone to share life with. He started mentioning how much easier things would be if they moved in together, how they could combine resources, save money, take care of each other. I saw what was happening because I had seen it 100 times in my practice. I intervened. It was not easy. My mother was angry with me for months. She thought I was being controlling. She thought I did not want her to be happy. She thought I was jealous of her new relationship. But she kept her house. She kept her savings. She lived independently until she was 89 years old. And before she died, she thanked me. She said she finally understood what I had seen. That is what I want for you. Independence, security, the ability to make choices from a position of strength, not desperation. I am 91 years old now. I have outlived most of the clients I tried to help. I have had decades to think about what I witnessed in that office. Case after case after case of people who lost everything because they trusted the wrong person at the wrong time. And here is what I know for certain. Being alone is not the worst thing that can happen to you. You know what is worse? Losing everything you worked your whole life for because you were lonely and someone exploited that loneliness. Living your final years in poverty because you trusted the wrong person. Dying ashamed because you were taken by a con artist who said they loved you while stealing your dignity along with your money. That is worse, much worse. So protect yourself. Trust slowly. Keep your money in your own name. Listen to the people who have known you for years when they express concern about someone who has known you for months. Get a prenuptial agreement. Do not rush. And if someone watching this is already in a situation that feels wrong, if you have already given someone access to your finances and something in your gut is telling you this is not right, call a lawyer tomorrow, not next week, not when you have more evidence. Tomorrow. It may not be too late to save something. It may not be too late to protect what remains. But every day you wait is another day they can drain your accounts, borrow against your assets, take what is yours. Do not become another story I could tell. Do not be Patricia, sitting in a one-bedroom apartment at 68, watching her retirement disappear. Do not be Robert, a tough cop crying in my office because he was fooled. Do not be one of the thousands of others. You deserve independence. You deserve security. You deserve to make choices from a position of strength, not desperation. You deserve protection. You deserve dignity. Watch out for yourself, because right now, as you watch this, predators are watching you.